All right, squad. Happy Tuesday to everybody. We are back. I did not post anything yesterday. I wanted to take the weekend to recoup and wrap my mind around some new ideas so I could come into this weekend today and the rest of the week rocking and on fire and bring some tremendous value for you guys throughout this entire week. So here we are. It is great to be back. Excited to be with you guys. And what we are going to be talking about today is a practical way to instill new habits in your life, right? Or maybe a new way of going about a certain thing or anything kind of along those lines. Because there's so much education out there, right? There's YouTube, there's podcasts, there's motivational speakers, there's books, there's endless amounts of things at our fingertips that are telling us how to go about these different circumstances and ways of progressing ourselves forward in the right direction. So how do we do it? What are some practical, simple ways where we can identify what we want to do and not only do it one or two times, but make it a consistent theme or a consistent process in our life moving forward for a longer duration of time, right? And I've experimented with some of these things. I've done well with some of them. I've done bad with some of them. Certainly kind of done average at some of them as well. But there's one thing that has really helped me when it comes to instilling new habits or anything like that into my life. And what it is, it's called anchoring these new habits to something that you already do every single day. Okay, so let's talk about this for a second. Anchoring new habits to something that you already do every single day. So for example, in the morning, I knew I wanted to pray a little bit more before I got my day started. So I sat down and started to think about the things that I already do every single day in the morning time that are productive, okay? So when I wake up, I always go to the bathroom, right? I brush my teeth. I stick my head in the shower, a cold shower for a little bit of time. I get dressed, take care of the dog, sit down to read, do things like that. So all some pretty productive stuff before I head out the door for work. But I also knew that I wanted to institute this new prayer time, or not even new prayer time, but just more prayer time in the morning. So instead of just saying some arbitrary number like, yeah, I want to pray for 10 more minutes in the morning and kind of leave it at that. Is that okay? Is that good? Is that a tangible goal to set? It is. I said I want to pray for 10 minutes and I want to do it every single morning. Fantastic. Perfect. Okay. But to kind of hold myself even further to that new standard or that new habit, I wanted to anchor it, right? Or kind of apply it with something that I already do in the morning. So what I decided to do is when I make my coffee in the morning, after I kind of, get the coffee grounds in there and I click the start button and it starts rocking, that's when I'm going to sit down and spend that 10 minutes in prayer. Okay, so I'm anchoring it to something that I already do every single day. Because if you just try to instill this new habit into your life kind of out of thin air or with something that you don't already do, or just kind of throw it out there throughout your day, it's going to be a little bit harder to hold yourself to that, because there's going to be a lot of things that kind of give and take throughout your day. You get pulled in certain directions, what have you. But if you already do something and make something consistent throughout your day, apply it to that same exact thing. So for me, again, with that coffee is when I applied that prayer time. Okay, and then the second thing was I wanted to meditate during the middle of the day. So not necessarily pray, but just kind of quiet myself, if you will, focus on my breathing, slow myself down. I kind of have some busy mornings for the most part, and I wanted to kind of give myself 10 minutes in the middle of the day to regroup, if you will. So if I were to just say, yeah, I'm going to make 10 minutes in the afternoon or sometime in the afternoon to do this, that sounds pretty good. But again, maybe I have to go coach a new session, or I have to go have a meeting, or I get tied up with something, whatever. Like sometimes that stuff's not going to happen. So what I already do is I make time in the sauna pretty much every afternoon as well. So what I want to do is now when I sit in the sauna for those 10 minutes, I'm not just going to sit in there and kind of twiddle my thumbs. I'm going to focus on this breathing. I'm going to focus on this new meditation and do it every single day, Monday through Friday. So again, I was anchoring this something, right, to something that I was already doing throughout my day that was also productive, right? So those are two kind of examples that I like to give from personal experience that have certainly helped me along the way. Because I think right now where we're kind of at, right, with this whole coronavirus thing, we're going to have a little bit more time on our hands, whether it's the restaurants and the bars closing. Maybe you can't go to work. I'm not really sure what my situation is going to be, just like I'm sure a lot of you don't either. But if we do have to stay home, or we can't go out when we do get home from work, what have you, we're going to have some more time on our hands that, in my estimation, we can use to better ourselves instead of kind of worrying about some things that we can't control, whether this stuff is closed and we can't leave. Okay, we can't control that situation, so let's see what we can do. And maybe it's going to be reading for 30 more minutes each day. Maybe it is going to be praying a little bit more. Maybe it is going to be working out in my house for 20 more minutes, what have you. But now is the time to do that stuff, especially if that time is kind of forced upon us. Let's kind of flip the script a little bit and use this time as a positive and as a benefit to our life, if you will. So I would strongly encourage us to, one, kind of identify something or some things that we want to apply to this new timetable that we now have, and two, anchor it to something that you are already doing. So I would like to believe that most of us eat dinner every single night. Okay, great. So after work, I come home, I eat dinner. After dinner each night, I'm going to read for 10 minutes. Perfect. There you go. You just anchored it. Or I always take my dog for a walk around the block. Bet. Now I'm going to do 10 push-ups every single time I take the dog out before and after we walk. Perfect. Boom. There we go. So now we're getting the ball rolling with these things by anchoring these new habits with this newfound time that we have. And again, just a suggestion, obviously we all attack these different things in our lives in different capacities, but I think when uncontrollable events are placed on us, we have to identify what we can now do in a productive way as a result of those events, and not worry about the event itself, and keep moving in the right direction regardless of what is placed in front of us. So those are going to be the two things that I suggest is, again, use that time efficiently for something productive. And if you want to do that and identify something to do that with, anchor it to something that you're already doing, because you are going to hold yourself that much more accountable as a result of doing so. So going to kick off the week with that. And I think, again, perspective at the beginning of the week with some tangible substance and some tangible direction is always going to set us up a little bit better. So I hope you guys can take to that. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Maybe it's drinking another glass of water each day. Or maybe it's taking 10 seconds to take one big deep breath 5 times throughout the day. Whatever. Just do something this week to improve upon yourself, especially if we have more of that time on our hands now, okay? So again, happy Tuesday to everybody. Stay up, stay positive, keep things rocking, and we'll see you guys back here tomorrow, okay? God bless you all. Coach Cool.